Can you hear me? No? Maybe yes, maybe no. Forgot about that. I have to wait till somebody gets on here. We got a thumbs up, nobody's watching. How did that happen? Uh, hmm. Somebody's watching. Can you hear me? Camera ain't focusing. Now there's two people watching. Can you guys hear me? Hello? Respond. Five people's watching. No response. I need to hit that. Top chats. Oh, good to hear. Thomas, can you hear me? I don't know if my mic's working. There's Vanessa. Kyle says yes. Loud and clear. Okay. So I've got some questions. Good evening, Fred. Ronald Alexander. That's a new one. Hi, welcome. Okay, so my question is, if war broke out in America, like between parties, let's say, and would you defend yourself? Would you fight to defend yourself, or would you let the government or parties take over? Am I wording that right? Yeah, Cal works at Peterbilt. He works. Maybe I've got concerns. It's just like with these red flag laws. If somebody reports you as being dangerous to yourself or others, they can come in and and they would take your guns. And they've also added in there that since they're taking your guns, okay, uh, they don't even give them to your family or give the option for anybody to retrieve your guns if they're confiscated. They're taken from you and you don't see them anymore. So if they pick us off one by one, legal gun owners, then that's one way of doing it. I guess my biggest concern is, when do we put a stop to having our guns taken from us, or allowing laws to cripple us from having guns, or having the right to use our guns or defend ourselves against a government that wants to take our rights away. And I'm afraid, Kyle, you're right. I'm afraid I'm not going to get too many answers on this, because people don't want to face what I'm talking about. It's a big concern to me. It bothers me to no end to think that at any time they could come and get my guns, and there's nothing I can do about it unless there's enough force of us to stop it. But like I said, if they if they only hit enough of us, yeah, but beyond YouTube, and yes, Vanessa, I know that it's unconstitutional, but it seems like every time you turn around, the state is adding a new law to hold you down, or keep you from being totally free of. It's hard for me to explain. They make laws. Yeah. Yeah. And see, that's the way I feel. I hate to show my hand, but then too, I really, and I really do not have a gun that's quite capable of defending myself against such things anyway. So I don't know, maybe I am just thinking way out there and this had never happened, and yeah, like it's never happened. It's happened before. Hi, Ocean. It gets to me that some states are allowing laws to be made to hold us down and restrict us, and they're getting by with it. Uh, so I don't know. I know this is a touchy subject, and not too many people want to talk about it. Yeah. I was watching the news tonight, and they showed, hey James, they were showing Martin Luther King talking about good people being silent, and or he in one of his speeches, they he was talking about good people being silent, and sometimes that can handicap people. A Rebel SSTAMC, but you know, do is it good for us to be silent about such things? Hello, Armament Axis. So I just, I don't know. I know I don't want to say too much, but then too, it's like, it just, I'm telling you, if we don't communicate amongst ourselves and be prepared to take action. Like I said, they're going to pick us off one by one with all these silly laws that allow gun grabs, and it scares me, people. It just really scares me that they allow like these red flag laws to have people say things and then yeah, well, yeah, exactly. See, and that's just it. You know, when you talk about these things and you try to unite or stand on a solid front, you're an extremist, and yeah. But it's hard to stand together if we don't know what the other one's doing and we're afraid to talk to one another about what's going on. And it just bothers me that this is happening, and it's happening, guys. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. When is enough enough? When do we say no more, no more of this? We're not going to take it anymore. We have rights. It is our right, and we've had enough. There's just no more to be done with this. Uh, and how far is it going to? How far will it have to go before it's recognized? You know, to stop it. Oh wow! I don't know why, but my I'm missing a lot. Hey, Floyd Hicks. I would see that's just it, Fuzzy. It's going to it's like what you said before about the frog in the boiling water. If you heat it up slow, if they take one at a time to take our guns away, then we won't notice how far it gets before it's too late, and the pot's already boiling, and we're cooked before before we get out of the water. Yeah, I know, Uncle Jim. This is something beyond what I normally talk about. Hey, Ozark, but it. I don't know, guys. I've seen a lot of restrictions and gun laws, but I'm not seeing stuff like what's going on now with all this. It's almost to the point where they're we're all criminals. No matter what goes down, we're criminals because of the laws and things that they've come up with. I'm sure Uncle Jim's with us, but like I said earlier, it's hard to talk about these things because you don't want to be an extremist, and you're labeled an extremist if you talk about fighting for your right. I know, Uncle Jim. You wake up and people know this. They know these things. They know these laws are meant to make us criminals, and to restrict us and keep us from our freedoms. But just when, you know, talking to politicians and trying to, oh, you just woke up from that. Sorry, Uncle Jim, I thought you meant something else. Um, but yeah, this, I don't know, it's getting to where it's just bothering me really bad about all this. I'm talking about the government overstepping, taking our rights, taking our guns, and they're doing it one person at a time to make it not look so obvious. But it's going. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. We can vote all we want, but once they become part of the government, and I know there's conspiracy theories, and I've never been one to talk about conspiracies. But once they become government, they're just, it's just part of the machine. Yeah, that's how I feel, Fuzzy. It's you can vote and carry on and call this person, call that person, tell them they're wrong, they're right. But once they're the machine is out there, and it's going to. Uh, in a way, Ozark it has. There is 11 new laws on the, I don't even know what you call it, on the table. There's, and they're, and it's silly stuff. It's just stupid stuff. Like when you leave your car and you have a gun on you and you want to leave your gun in the car, it has to be locked up or it has to be empty, and you got to take the ammunition and put it somewhere else. It's just stupid stuff. It's just, but if you're in the gun can be on you and the ammunition can be in the gun. And it's one of those things that if your car gets stolen or your gun gets stolen, it's not readily available to be used in a criminal situation. And it's not just Missouri, it's just nationwide, the stupidity of the government and what they're doing and what they're, like the red flag law. They take one person's voice against another person, and there's no say to it. They take your guns, and once they're gone, they're gone. They don't even give them to your family. They're wanting to pass that law to where, and I don't even know if they're wanting to pass a law or even put it up for that. Yeah, like restricting buying of ammunition, Thomas. That's just as silly. That is, it just law after law about silly things. Yes, I believe that, Armament Axis, that red flag laws are a direct violation of the Constitution. No, but it's coming, Jim. That's what I fear more than anything. If you got the East Coast acting like that and you got the West Coast acting like that, the middle's soon gonna fall. You can't have the front back I, I know this is a chat and a talk that you normally don't see me do, but it's to the point where it just if we really just do not sit down and talk about it, and this is the only avenue I have to really put out my concerns. Yeah, you're right. Watch for the smoke signals. I wished I understood smoke signals, Fuzzy. It just looks like smoke to me. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, the East Coast is Massachusetts, Connecticut, till you get down south, it's pretty sinister. Well, that's just it, Tread. If we march and we talk and all of us group up and go somewhere and do anything, we're labeled. And a lot of us don't want to show our hand or be labeled. Yeah. And it's I don't know. We try to be silent and we hope it passes. And it's and it has in the past, but the past is past and it's getting where it's getting bad. I don't I don't know. I feel like now I'm talking in circles. It's like this conversation is just going around and around. Papa Bear and put on a hat. Hello, M trunk truck. Yeah. Oh, I know, Fuzz. That's what I'm saying. They know who says what and what's going on. How could they not? Well, I look really tired, don't I? You think I could? Yeah. Yeah, but Jim, are they just an scapegoat? Are they just a sacrificial lamb? That has happened before. Oh, we'll sacrifice this part of the government to hide the other part. There's nothing in Roswell, Area 51. Who knows? The government is hid so much stuff. Yeah. It Yeah, the honest person don't, or the good people don't have a chance. The criminals is all the power is gone to the criminals. And you know what? I think the government feeds on that. You know, you handicap the good people and the bad people take over. Exactly, Fuzz. His mind ain't nothing but on the wall. And I believe in the wall, but there's other things going on besides that wall. The wall should have been built years ago. Not us, the bad criminals. The true criminals. Yeah. 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 Uh, Dread. They started all this not wanting illegals to come over and deporting them and all that, but now the Trump's up on the bandwagon. Oh, we can't do that. Yeah. Oh, I never thought about that. You're right. Uncle Jim's in the magnets too. Yeah. Well, you would think, Fuzz, it's always been up to us to police the government and not them police us. I don't know when the role has ever been changed, but it is. Exactly. Both sides. You're right. It is a play. You probably will, preacher. You probably already have been. I've heard that comment before. If I make a comment on somebody else's video and he's being watched by the government, well, I start being watched by the government. Yeah, pretty much. Well, and then too, I think a lot of that started in school. The role change, because let's face it, school is dependent on the government. So the school's going to say what the government wants it to say or teach what they want to be taught. I've had a few teachers when I was in school that actually went against the grain, and that's how I learned how the government was running the school, and some of the teachers didn't agree with how it was run. Oh, really? France is suing. Well, they suing them for, Jim, because I can remember some history lessons that we were taught in school. And when I got out of school and started hearing real, true history, my opinion on the school system's history changed big time. You know, Fuzzy, I watched a movie yesterday about the UN in the Congo. Uh, that is a pit of snakes. The UN is a pit of snakes. I, I I can't believe some of the things they've got by with. Yeah, mine too, preacher. Mine too. Let's just say this: I believe Lincoln was a tyrant. He was a scoundrel. You know, and they still teach our kids Honest Abe. Honest Abe. Yeah. That's if you guys really knew the real story about Abraham Lincoln, oh Lord. You know, and the sad part about this story about Abraham Lincoln is it's out there and it's public. People refuse to hear it. Yeah, exactly. History is written by the victors. Well, think about it. And most battle uh, places that the South names was renamed by the North. You know, that's just like Pea Ridge. Pea Ridge is really Elk Tavern, is what we, the Southerns, always called it. Well, Jim, I don't know if it's hate or if it's just distrust or Elkhorn Tavern. Yeah, Elkhorn Tavern. That's it. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of that was over the diamonds. I guarantee you, Fuzzy, it was over diamonds. What'd Kyle say? I missed it. I'm glad to see a northerner say that, Fuzz. Thank you. Well, good Lord, he was a lawyer. Everybody knows you can't trust a lawyer. Actually, diamonds uh, are a little better than a tool. There's some things people don't know about diamonds that, but as far as a precious stone to be worn or to be, it that's not what a diamond's actual purpose is for. Like you said, they're used for tools. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Well, Kyle, it depends on how high you up or how high you are up in the building. If you're on the 10th floor, you can throw a blow, you're pretty far. I guess it'd be straight down, but yeah. But seeing that's just it. Yeah, you're right, Fuzz. Hey, Gene, what's up? Hot pot, we're talking about how far does it go before our rights are taken from us and we're no longer the rights. Well, you go ahead and chime in. You tell us what you think. Or was that just your way of saying hi? Hello, Georgia Boy 44. You missed it. We were talking about that stinking Lincoln. We were just talking about government in general and how sometimes they overstep their thoughts, or I mean their rights to govern a free nation, a free people. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of things that it did, Vanessa. You know, that was just what 90, 88 years after that Lincoln did that. Yeah. Yeah, I know, Dean. When do we say enough's enough and we stop this uh, silly law passing of taking our rights? You can't even drive down the street without being told you have to wear a seatbelt. Don't you think that ought to be up to the person driving the car if you can wear a seatbelt or not? Uh, if that takes your life, isn't that your choice? Don't you think that's your choice to choose instead of having somebody tell you that you can't? I see the government has passed so many silly laws, or we think they're silly because it's like the seatbelt law, or you have to have insurance before you can drive a car. Uh, I can see that to a point, but still, that is a freedom taken from you. It's just one way of the government taking control. Revenue, yes. Uh, yeah, exactly. That's what I was talking about earlier, Georgia Boy. We can vote and we can call this person and we can email this person in the government, but once they become government, they're part of the machine, and it's hard to break that. Yeah. That's Ocean. You're right. At my work, we have a what they call the wellness fair, and if you don't participate in this wellness fair, you have to pay $5 a week for the year, and that's just ridiculous. Yeah, and I'm afraid some of the people that we think are pro gun, I've noticed once they get in office, they turn coat. Yeah, $160 $260 a year is the penalty I have to pay if I don't want to do this wellness fair thing. And now they've included my wife. If she doesn't participate, I have to pay another $260 a year. Yeah, you got a point, preacher. Yeah, $520 a year. And what's weird about that whole thing is supposedly they are not supposed to know anything about your health. So I can't see why that's even an issue. You know what I'm saying? If they're not supposed to know what your health is, or it doesn't depend, it doesn't jeopardize or affect your job. Why is it so important to do that? You know, everybody has health issues, especially in some environments where you work. Uh, I know my work is totally uh, dirty. Yeah. Yeah, I never thought about that. They probably do get a kickback from people doing the wellness fair. Yeah. And see, that's another thing. Even if a doctor asks you about your gun, that is a private thing between you and your doctor, and he can't discuss that with anybody else. Or is it just confined to your health issues? But if a doctor asked me about a gun, I would have to tell him it's none of his business because it's not. How can a doctor ask you if you have a gun and make it and be legal? But yes, I've seen that. Ooh, a tax credit. Yeah. Yeah, but let's face it, a lot of companies live off the tax. Yeah, your gun isn't sick. That's right. Yeah. John Abel, I'm afraid you're right. And that's what's got me all bothered. Well, I don't know so much about wanting more, but I'm afraid it's on going to be upon us before we know it. You shoot with your doctor? Yeah, I don't think you're the one. Yeah. I don't think you're the only one. Fuzzy, that's a good question. And if a person was to answer that honestly and truthful, yes. You're moving to Arkansas. Yeah, the system is to blame, but did we allow it to get that way? That's another question. When do we say enough's enough and the system is kicked out or rebooted? There you go, Georgia boy. Yeah. What was that all about? Rebel. Yeah, exactly, Georgia boy. That's kind of what I'm thinking. We've let this go too far. But like I said earlier, I don't know John Abel, but if things don't change soon, it's going to be soon. Oh, I ain't going to predict it. I just will not do that. Yeah. Well, I'm telling you, if you guys have noticed people anymore, they very few people have common sense anymore. They don't think with reason or the sense is gone. And I don't understand that. You can tell somebody something and they don't see it. They just do not see it. Yeah. Hey Jet, what's up? We're talking about the government and when is enough and our rights are our rights and we're not restricted. Yeah, well, we do need a government. I'm not saying that we don't need a government, but I'm just saying, when do we tell the government, hey, you've overstepped? You've, I wouldn't say that we don't need a government because, well, we can stop going to work, but what's the point in that? That's just hurting us, I feel. You're right. It's a rigged system, but with all systems, it's sometimes needed. Axis and armament. That's uh, I said that backwards, or you know what I'm saying. But anyway, it's you know an empty hull is an empty hull. It's pretty useless if it ain't full. You're right. Well, Tread, in my opinion, I'll tell you what caused people here in the United States to not be able to carry firearms. It was the ordinance of each town during the Wild West, when the cowboys would come off the trail and shoot up the town, and something had to be done, so they would disarm them as they came into town. That was a big start of it. So a lot of it was the actions of the gun uh, owner. Yeah, that's exactly how I feel, John Abel. It's not left or right. It's pretty much right down the center now. Yeah, but like I was saying earlier, Jim, if we don't stand together, we're easily divided and we're all going to fall because they're picking us out one by one with these silly laws, and they know it, and that's what they want to do. That's how they're going to get to us. Shifting sands. Yep, you got that right. And you can't build a house on shifting sands, can you? Or it's not wise to build a house on shifting sands. I'm pretty sure we all got each other's backs, but when they sneak in and get you before you realize that you're going down, nobody has time to have your back. And that's the part that really alarms me, is the way that they're working, you know. It's just like rats to cheese in a trap. You don't have to fight with powder coated bullets, Fuzz. Raw bullets with bear grease is just as good. Oh, Fuzzy's got the red dot, that's for sure. Yes, we need to vote and be active. Yeah, that's you're right, Jet, and that's another thing that gets me. If we, I don't think if we ever go into another civil war that it's just going to be us. Other people's going to see us vulnerable and they're going to attack, especially if there's inner fighting amongst ourselves. Yeah, yeah, Fuzz, you're right. And I've been thinking that for a long time now. Now, James, do you mean naked bullets cause lead poisoning? Because powder coated bullets shouldn't cause lead poisoning. All right, Fuzzy, we'll see you in a little bit. And I know I can sit here and say, what's the solution? And we all come up with something different. But number one thing is, guys, we need to be aware of what's going on, what's going down, because they're not going to come in a troop and hit block by block. They're not going to do that because that's going to be an alert and that can be fought against. It's all going to be into this hitting one house at a time in random places. That's exactly right, Thomas. Keep your powder dry and your ammunition close. Yeah, I'm starting to see a decrease in viewers. Maybe I need, we're coming up on the hour anyway. Maybe I need to bring this live chat down. Okay, preacher. We'll talk to you later. Like I said, I think I'm going to shut her down anyway because we're coming up on the hour and I feel like I'm talking in circles now. 7 more hours. I can't do that anymore. I think Uncle Jim knows that too because I fell asleep in the last one, 5.5 hours. Actually, it was only 4.5 for me because I came on an hour late. I know Kenny got a big kick out of that. I really believe he got a big kick out of that. James, do you talk in circles all the time? Okay, so Jim's saying we have a tat chat on Saturday. And it's for society, Kyle says. Every day, James says. I enjoy Jim's chats too, but thanks, Fuzzy. Yeah, uh, but yeah, working 5 days a week and having the grandkids over here 4 to 7 days a week is wearing me out. Oh, I'm not stressed, Jim. I know if I need to go to sleep, I can do it. All right, guys, I'm going to shut this down because, like I said, I think I'm going to in circles. And like Fuzzy says, everybody, please be careful. Y'all have a good night. We'll catch you later.